What's going on, YouTube? This is Jim Athanas, aka Viper Magic, and today I want to talk about the Iron Banner event that is currently ongoing. Obviously, I am playing Destiny, in case you didn't figure it out, or you are new to my channel. I am very involved in this game, and I have some feedback for you guys regarding my thoughts on the Iron Banner. Let's kick things off by visiting our friend Lord Saladin. I wanted to glance over and browse through the items that he had for sale, and I wanted you to see what your rewards would be if you managed to stick it out in the Iron Banner long enough. On top of these standard armor shaders and emblems, there were some legendary pieces of gear that were available. You will notice, however, that these pieces of gear are pretty standard with other legendaries you would get. Now, obviously, ignore the fact that my light level is higher and my defense is higher when I'm doing a comparison between the gauntlets or the chest armor, because I've upgraded both. And as you know or may not know, when you upgrade the defense rating, it does increase your light level. So there's a pretty good chance you're looking at the same piece of gear pre and post upgrade. In addition, the actual perks that come with the weapon, whether it be faster reloading speed or you can carry more type of one ammunition or another, is pretty standard. I didn't notice any major quote-unquote perks that made this more PvP-ish, if that makes sense. So what I'm getting at is the Iron Banner grinding is really not much different than any of the other grinding that you can already do in the game as you try to explore and pick up some better pieces of gear. Let me further prove that by showing you some of the bounties that are available. Okay, so win 3 matches with the gear, big whoop. 15 machine gun sprees. That's not an easy feat. Killing 30 guardians with a machine gun headshot, okay, that's not too bad. You can double dip that with this one where you get 15 headshot sprees. Not talking single headshots, I'm talking sprees. Defeat 10 guardians without dying. Okay. And I laugh at that because you and everybody knows, as well as I do, that super moves, especially with some of the exotic gear we're getting, are going off like crazy. Compare that to some of the standard Crucible bounties. Participate in matches, win matches, get melee kills. I mean, if I'm a leveling guy, if I've never played before and I'm like, hey, I want to get to the end, what road am I going to take? And then to take it to the next, okay, so that's the leveling guy. You say, hey, Jim, you know, this isn't geared towards the leveling guy. This is geared towards end game. This is the Iron Banner. This is where all the rules go out the window and all the game balancing goes out the window. We're going to have 2 guardians face off and we're going to see who's got better stuff. Well, that's not exactly true either. And that's what leads me to the point of this video today. I was reading through the official Bungie website, and I was reading an interview between Deej and the senior designer, one of the senior designers of the game, this guy named Derek Carroll. So they posted a brief type of interview that the two of them did. I'm sure it was heavily scripted, by the way, but that's okay because it did give us some feedback into the game. So the first question is, can you explain how a level 5 Guardian can use a starter gun and take down a raid veteran? Derek responds, quote, your skill will take you 80% of the way to victory, but that last 20% will be much harder to climb without the gear you've been relying on, unquote. Okay, that's not really an answer here. I don't know what he's really trying to say, but at least I will give Deej credit that there was a follow-up question that makes a little more sense. And the question is, then what is the exact advantage that I gain from powerful weapons and gear? Derek responds, quote, having a lot of defense reduces the damage you take from lower level players. Conversely, having a lot of attack on your weapons or higher character level for your abilities neutralizes the advantage higher level players will have against you. To keep the competition close and avoid unwinnable fights, the largest advantage you can have is around 7 levels. So, if you attack the target 20 levels above you, you'd have a fair shot at winning that fight, unquote. What the hell? Okay, there's a lot to take in here, but let's try to break this into small pieces. The biggest problem with Iron Banner is not Iron Banner. The biggest problem with Iron Banner is that we're using a lot of loose language without actual numerical facts to back it up. Some people call this theory crafting. Now, as a Warcraft veteran, I'm very familiar with that. What do I mean? When he says having a lot of defense reduces the damage you take from lower level players, my first question is, how much? When he says that having a lot of attack power on your weapons or a higher level character from your abilities neutralizes the advantage higher level players may have against you, is that a misquote? Is he trying to tell me that if I have a lot of attack power on my weapons, that people will have a harder time hurting me? If that's true, what does the weapon statistic have to do with anything? And I'm not going to get too much into that. I don't think that's what he meant to say. But that's my point exactly. What is he trying to say? I need numbers. When I have a defense rating of 1,000 and I'm going against a lower level Titan with a defense rating of 500, does that mean if with equal weapons, I would do twice the damage that he would, or conversely, he would have to shoot me twice to get to where I'm at? That doesn't make sense. To pick one more part of Derek's quote apart, he says that the highest level advantage you can have is around 7 levels. That basically means that everything I've done in this game post level 20 is virtually moot going into Iron Banner. Maybe give or take a level here or there. Now, so basically a level 28, 27, fully geared out dude is, in Iron Banner's eyes, the same as a level 20 guy. What? Then what's the point of me doing all this? What's the point of me spending hours and hours driving around Mars and farming relic iron? What's the point of me going on endless public event runs trying to find very precious Ascendant energy or Ascendant shards? What's the point of me doing all these quests to grind reputation to get better gear, to get level 3 Crucible gear, or to grind Motes of Light to go to Zur and pray to God he gives me something that I actually wanted at a random, or better yet, trying to find strange coins and utilize them to get some better gear? Basically nothing. That's what he's saying. He's telling you that right now. So everybody who went into the Iron Banner event thinking, oh yeah, I'm a big tough 28, I'm going to take a 15 and I'm going to swat him away like Neo did in the Matrix. That's not happening. That's all gone. That's broken. So yes, Iron Banner in of itself was a sham. You look at the rewards, it wasn't great. You look at the perks or benefits that you got, they're not great. And you look at basically the actual gameplay element to it, and it's broken. So I'm going to have to say Iron Banner was a bust. I'm sorry, it was a bust. Now, I will say, in its credit, it did bring out the best in players. My kill-to-death ratio, which was normally about 1.5 now, I'm getting slightly better. It's pretty close to 1.5 the last 20 or so matches I've done. Look at that compared to my kill-to-death ratio now in Iron Banner, which was around 1. So it does bring out more fierce competition, and the competitive spirit in me loves that. I love that it brings out the best in people. So in that sense, I appreciate Iron Banner, and it did make me realize that I wasn't as good as I thought I was. Okay, got it. But for the sake of doing it in the sense of progression, does everything have to be about progression? Absolutely not. Sometimes fun is just supposed to be fun. However, when you put an event out there and you tell everybody that the guise is under these set rules, and then we find out the day before the event ends that everything we thought was not true, and that the bonuses we thought we were getting, we were not getting, it really makes you question, what the hell was this event about to begin with? Now, I'm going to say that I think one of the biggest problems is that when Destiny did their public alpha or public beta, and yes, I know that's a horrible super I just did, and I deserve to die, and I did.
Enemy captured zone.
When Destiny did their public alpha and public beta, they were capped at level 8, so I don't think they really got to see a lot of this endgame stuff in action. And there are going to be growing pains, I've said that before, that's part of the MMO process. Look at Diablo 3 is a perfect example of that. My wife played with the Witch Doctor, and that class sucked so hard for so long. It was so weak and underpowered, and they fixed it. It took them a year, but they fixed it. It was an iterative process, and they realized some of the balance was gone. So looking at what's going on in Destiny, again, I made arguments before on why this is an MMO light game. Now, if we're going to get into these kind of things, I think they're going to have to take a big look in the mirror and say, what kind of game do we want to be? Do we want to be more MMO-based, in which case all my griping about the theory crafting and numbers behind the math do matter? Or are we going to say, forget it, we're going to just have we're going to have you get hired gear so you could shoot against monsters, and every time you play against your bros, you're all going to be doing identical damage to each other. That's where this is going right now, is the latter option. Is that what they wanted to do? Is that the vision? I don't know. Doesn't make it bad, doesn't make it right, doesn't make it wrong, but we need to know what the vision is going forward. So, those are my thoughts on Iron Banner. It needed a lot of work. It was a good test. I don't know what it proved other than a lot of the shortcomings of the game. And I will be doing a video a little bit later on getting more into the math of things, as I've been piddling around with some new weapons I got, comparing the exotic stats versus the regular stats. And I think part of my argument will make a little more sense after you watch that video. I'll post that later on in the week. Anyways, I want to hear your guys' feedback. Do you guys think Iron Banner was a success or a failure? Do you care that there was a 7-level cap, or did you feel ultimately powerful because at some point, whether you were fighting in your fights, you did fight against somebody who was severely underpowered compared to you, and you wrecked them, and that's what you wanted? Or is it fun to even wreck people? I don't know. Just curious to hear the gauge back on the community. I've seen a lot of stuff on the Destiny forums, so I think I know how a lot of you guys are already going to answer. But my 2 cents. So go ahead, comment, rate, subscribe, or do none of the above. You know, that's okay too. I'm having a good old time doing these videos, and they're going to keep coming whether you like it or not. Until then, I will see you guys